has been precisely 6 months and 3 days since I made my last Shadowhunters video, and I have not been coping. Hello everyone, it is Katie here, and it is time to do another Shadowhunters video. Finally! So after that torturous 6 months wait since the last episode of season 1, we finally have some new content for Shadowhunters. As you probably already know, Shadowhunters rocked up at New York Comic Con over the weekend, and whilst they're doing their panel, they dropped on us the first trailer for season 2, along with 2 little sneak peeks of the first episode. And of course, because there is finally new content, I am going to talk about it. I'm so excited to be doing Shadowhunters videos again. You have no idea how much I've missed talking about this show. So it's been over a year now since I started making Shadowhunters videos, when the cast first started getting announced, and honestly I have loved getting involved with everyone online, and the positive comments that I've had back from my videos have been so amazing. You guys don't know how much it means to me to know that people are watching and enjoying my videos, especially because before I started making Shadowhunters videos I was very nervous speaking in front of a camera. So I am just endlessly grateful to the people that watch these videos. I really enjoyed the show. Yes, it was slightly different from the books, and yes, there was a lot of negativity about it online, which I will speak more about later, but I tried to remain optimistic about this show throughout. So of course I am looking forward to discussing season 2 with you all as well. When the show comes back on in January, I will be making videos again because I can't not talk about this show. So I very much look forward to discussing the episodes with you all again. But for now, let's talk about the new content we got at New York Comic Con. But before we get into that, let's discuss our newest cast member. We finally have an actress for Maya Roberts. Maya is being played by Alicia Wainwright. As with most of the other Shadowhunters cast members, it was a name that I didn't recognise. I hadn't seen her in anything before, and I was really happy about that because I like that they don't cast well-known actors and actresses to take on these parts. I mean, from the moment I saw her first picture, I was like, yes! She definitely looks how I pictured Maya. She is so pretty. We got a tiny little hint of her in the trailer, which I'll talk about later, but just from that one little clip, I think she looks great. I'm excited to see what the show is going to do with her. Once again, some A+ casting from this show. Another character being introduced in season 2 is Victor Aldertree. Now I know there is an Aldertree in the books, but I believe the one that they've brought into the show is a slightly different character. So whilst he shares the same name as somebody in the books, he's actually slightly different, I think. But playing the part of Victor Aldertree is Nick Sagar. But we got our first look of Victor in one of these sneak peek clips. But the actor, again, is a fairly unknown actor. He's British, and they've allowed him to keep his accent in the show. And it's a good accent. I like that accent. He looks like a really interesting character, so yeah, I'm excited to see him in the show as well. So they are our 2 new cast members. So now we've talked about the cast, let's talk about these new clips, shall we? I'll admit, I've already seen the trailer and the clips. I watched them immediately after they were put online because I don't have 1 ounce of self-control. I was honestly going to wait until I could get the camera set up and then film an actual reaction, but then I saw people talking about the trailer and I had to. I'm sorry, I've let you down. So what I'm going to do is watch through the trailer again on my phone, pause it and discuss bits that I feel need discussing. I wish I could play the video for you in the corner of the screen, but this broke ass can't afford editing software that will enable me to do that. I'm stuck in Windows Movie Maker hell! So the trailer starts with Mayrus explaining to the rest of the Institute the situation with Valentine. She is talking about how they are at war with him, how he has an army, and how one of their own have gone and joined him. Jace. So first things first, the music for this trailer is so intense and haunting, and I like it. We have some shots of Valentine talking to Jace on this boat of his. Poor Jace, what has he got himself into? We also cut to Alec talking to Maris, saying that if you kill Jace, you'll kill a part of me. I really liked that line, because obviously it shows how close they are as Parabatai. No matter what Jace does, Alec's always going to want to go and save him. Also, how lovely of Maris to be all for going to kill Jace. It's not like you've had this boy raised with your family since he was a child. We also have some clips of Clary and Jocelyn speaking as well. I like that season 2 picks up about an hour after the events of season 1, so we're going to get to see the immediate reaction to Jocelyn waking up and her coming to terms with the fact that Clary has been brought into this world that she's been trying to protect her from. We also have some amazing shots of Clary epically walking through the Institute. There's just so many shots of the characters looking really epic. Izzy with her braids in. My babies. And then we cut back to Alec and Maris again, where Maris says that he's not your blood, and Alec's like, he's closer than blood. Such a good line. Then we have our little clip of Maya. So even from that tiny little snippet of her, I am really excited for her character because she seems really badass. Simon trying to do Encanto. Bless him, my awkward little vampire. We have all these very intriguing shots of Jace pulling himself out of the water as well.
Things get crazy. Don't push me away.
Then we have that little Malik clip. I'm already worried for potential angst in season 2. I'm assuming you've seen the pictures that were released the other day as well. There is one of Magnus and Alec on this little balcony in Magnus's apartment, and Magnus has his hand on Alec's. But this scene from the trailer obviously takes place at the same time as that picture. The trailer could follow on from that, where Alec might move his hand away, and that's why Magnus says what he does. And I'm thinking that is definitely likely. I'm hoping that it's the other way around, and that after Magnus says that line, Alec accepts Magnus's comfort instead. But no, we're probably just gonna get more angst. Regardless, I'm very excited for the Malik. I'm a little bit concerned about Jace pulling somebody up from the water because it looks like a girl with blonde hair. People are speculating over whether it might be Lydia or not. I hope it's not Lydia because I was really excited when I found out that she was going to be in season 2 as well. So if she's been brought in this season just to kill her, I will not be happy. So then again, we have lots of quick shots of all the characters. And we also have some intense moments between Clary and Jace. The trailer ends with them jumping over the railing of this boat. And then it cuts to the pretty new logo with the air date for the season premiere, which is the 2nd of January, by the way, if you didn't already know that, which you probably did. It also says winter premiere, so I'm assuming because there's 20 episodes, they're going to split it and do 2A and 2B. I'd actually quite like that because that means we get the series spread out more over the year. So although it means a gap in the season, we actually get the show for longer, if that makes sense. I'm still so excited that we're getting 20 episodes this season. So yeah, that trailer, it looks really amazing. I think it's definitely a lot more intense than any of the trailers that we had for the first season. I think that's a combination of the fact that we've already established the show, we know all of the characters now, and also the fact that it's getting a bit darker and grittier this season. You probably already know that we have 2 new showrunners now. It was announced that Ed Decter had left just as we started production for season 2, and the new showrunners are Todd Slavkin and David Swimmer. Looking at the previous work of these 2 new showrunners, I am excited for what they're going to do with Shadowhunters. It looks like they have a lot more experience in this sort of genre. Also seeing what they had to say on the panel at New York Comic Con and in some of the interviews that they did afterwards as well, they do seem really great. They seem like a good fit for Shadowhunters. So we'll just have to see what happens next season and see whether they do us proud, because I'm sure that they will. So I thought that was a great promotional trailer. I loved the music, I loved the way it was edited with all these quick flash shots. It does have a more mature feel to it. All these scenes between Jace and Valentine are quite creepy as well. It's definitely made me excited for January 2nd. So let's move on to these 2 sneak peek clips that we got of episode 1. I don't need to watch these through on my phone to talk about them because I have seen them enough times. So the first one is Maris introducing the Institute to Victor Aldertree. She has to say that the current leadership has been deemed insufficient. Gutted for you, Maris. and that Victor Aldertree has come in to take over. His introduction is quite intense. He's definitely set up as an antagonistic character. Everyone looks slightly nervous when he starts talking. He asserts his authority over everyone pretty much straight away, so I'm definitely excited to see what they do with his character. I don't know if we're being tricked into believing he's a bad guy, but he might actually turn out to be a good guy, or he might actually end up being a million times worse than what we think he'll be. So I'm looking forward to seeing him develop. So the other clip that we were given is a training scene between Izzy and Clary, and it takes place after Victor's introduction because he's also in the background of the scene. So Victor is watching over this training room, and Clary and Izzy decide to train. Izzy has this whole speech about knowing your enemy. This scene is so on point. I love Clary and Izzy in the show. I love the relationship between them. In the books, it took a while for them to become friendly. There seemed to be a bit of bitterness and rivalry between them at first in the books, whereas in the show, they connect and become friends from the start. And I absolutely love that the show did that because I am all about women supporting each other, and that's exactly what show Clary and Izzy did. So this scene between them, even though it's them training against each other, it's not really a tense scene in a way that they dislike each other. It's tense because it's good to watch these two friends go up against each other. Everything about that scene, the music, the way it's shot, the actual fighting between them is just so great. I know that for the second season they have a whole new stunts team and stuff, so I'm definitely looking forward to better quality fight scenes, because one of the things that I was a bit touch and go about in season 1 was the actual fighting. But if this is a taste of what the fight scenes are going to look like in the future of the show, then I'm very excited, because that was a nicely edited training scene. So that was all the new footage that we got. Definitely enough to get me very excited for January 2nd. I can't wait to jump back into this world and see what the showrunners have planned. Obviously filming has been going on for a while now and they're on episode 6. So there have been lots of cast pictures and behind the scenes type things. There's been so much stuff that I don't have time to go through all of it, but I'm assuming you've seen a lot of the pictures that have been released anyway. The promotional pictures for episode 1 are really exciting. Can we talk about shirtless Magnus? I love how the fandom have just been begging McG for some shirtless Magnus in season 2, and then they released that picture. We were actually given exactly what we asked for, and then at the panel at New York Comic Con he actually did say that he did that because the fandom asked him to. Bless McG! One of the biggest surprises from the panel for me is that a video from Paul Wesley randomly appeared where he said that he was going to direct an episode of the show. Okay, I have no idea where that came from, but let's roll with it. Paul Wesley plays Stefan in The Vampire Diaries. I don't watch The Vampire Diaries anymore. I used to, but I kind of stopped around season 5. But I like Paul Wesley a lot. He seems like a really nice guy. And I hope he gets all of the good things that he deserves after The Vampire Diaries. So I'm very excited that he's going to be directing an episode of Shadowhunters. I think it's the most random thing ever, but I like it. So that is basically it, update-wise, that I can think to discuss with you all now. I am really looking forward to a second season, and I'm glad that we've been given the opportunity to get another season, because the reaction from fans for season 1 was very mixed. I have mentioned this in several of my videos before, but when the show started going into production, I made the decision to not compare it so much to the books all the time. I know the deal, I know what it's like turning a book series into TV. It has to be very different. But I think that as long as they stay true to the characters, then that shouldn't really matter. I knew I wouldn't enjoy the show if I was just constantly comparing it to the books all the time. So for me, all I wanted from this show was for them to honour the characters, and I feel like they definitely did that. In fact, I think season 1 actually did a few things with the characters that I preferred to the books. One of them being what I mentioned before, the fact that Clary and Izzy were friends from the start in the show. I also think that Alec was handled a lot better in the show than he was in the first few books, because obviously the first 3 books follow Clary and Jace mostly, and the rest of the characters we don't get to see their personal stories. So I think the show got the chance to expand on them a lot, and I'm really happy with what the show did. There will be people that you're never going to be able to please when it comes to adaptations. When the panel for New York Comic Con was happening, I was seeing a lot of negative tweets on my Twitter timeline from people who were worried about the show adapting things from the Infernal Devices, and there were a lot of people saying, don't you dare touch TID, don't ruin TID as well. And I couldn't help but think, no one's forcing you into watching this show. If you don't want to see an adaptation of any of this, you don't have to. You always have the books. Freeform turning the Mortal Instruments into a show and possibly adding Infernal Devices to it later if they want to, that's not going to change your love for the original material. So I don't see why people are so negative. It's impossible to ignore the fact that the fandom was really split in season 1. There was a lot of negativity online, specifically more on Twitter and on BookTube. Like I said, I chose to make my videos more optimistic because I was optimistic. I was looking forward to whatever changes the show made and whatever direction they decided to go in, because I was just really excited about the cast. And I know the first season had its up and down moments and it was a bit cheesy and stuff like that, but you know, I've seen plenty of shows that have had really bad first seasons and have gone on to be great. So the stuff that people were really criticising, I wasn't really bothered about, but there was a lot of negative reactions on BookTube. I mean, of course that's fine, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, that's why people make videos, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't post their opinions online, because that would be hypocritical, because it's exactly what I do. But I hope that doesn't continue throughout season 2 of Shadowhunters. The people who were watching season 1 and clearly weren't enjoying it, when I was watching their video discussions of the episodes, it seemed as though they felt it was a chore to watch the show each week. And if it's becoming a chore for you to watch and to talk about, then I don't see the point in continuing to watch and talk about the show. I really love the show. I had moments that I had criticisms about, but overall I really enjoyed it. I love watching it and I love talking about it. So I'm going to continue making videos. At the end of the day, if you don't like the show, you don't have to watch it. And I just feel like if you know you're going to be negative and mock the show every single week, you don't have to do that. So yeah, I am hoping that next season we'll have less negativity online with regards to the show, because like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I feel like sometimes last season there was a fine line between criticism and outright mocking, and I feel like that was crossed quite a lot of times. I know even in my own videos there were moments of the show that I laughed at with regards to some of the special effects and the way some of the scenes were edited. I did laugh at some of the things that I didn't enjoy, but I tried to stop myself from outright mocking the show because I don't really think that's fair. I did see people mocking the actors themselves and the way they looked in the show and the way that they talked and the way that they acted out their scenes. And to do that week after week, I don't think it's really fair. So that's why I hope that people who didn't enjoy the show don't continue to watch it. I just want a drama-free season next year, basically. It was a little difficult to be involved in BookTube during the airing of Shadowhunters. There was so much drama everywhere and I was just in the middle like, So yeah, I'm excited for next season. I hope to see more positivity, and I'm so glad to be back making videos about the show again. Of course, if we get any more clips and casting in the future before the show airs, then I will make more discussion videos. And of course, when the show starts airing, you can expect to see me here discussing everything. So please let me know your thoughts on the clips and the trailer in the comments. Are you excited for next season? And what are you most excited to see happen to the characters? I love to discuss all the Shadowhunters things. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye!